got my winch embedded
in the bed
between the frame.
I'm a little bit worried about, like, for example, we need to know like how much the axle and the suspension and also the tires, what are they capable
I wanted
of?
to be able to do this all myself.
I can't believe this. Is this really happening?
Yeah, the truck nearly killed me.
Wow. David, I've been waiting for this day for, I think, for 2 years.
In 2 years.
Because you did something I think most of us dream about. You built your own dream truck. And I think what you've done here, you've built a budget Matt's off-road recovery type vehicle.
Yeah, I drew a lot of inspiration from all those guys, mainly Rory at Trailmater.
Okay.
And Fab Rats.
Okay.
He drives a Chevy as well. And of course, Matt, he has the ultimate rig.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to build something that was similar, and so that's where I got my inspiration.
So what's the overall budget on this?
My budget was a shoestring.
Shoestring.
I think at this point, and we'll go over it all. At this point, I'm about 25,000.
All right. Well, that's a pretty good budget to have a truck on 37s, which is this cool. It's a square body.
I had a lot of stuff already.
Yeah.
But I, of course, bought a lot of new parts.
Sweet. So, how about this? Okay. How about you kind of tell us the story of this truck?
Okay.
But I also want to put it through some obstacles.
Of course, I got a really good, really tough course right
And I also don't see a boom. I don't see a crane or anything.
Well, that was one of my deviations from what Trailmater and all those guys. I wanted a multi-purpose truck, kind of a farm truck as well as a tow truck.
I love that.
Because most of the time it's going to be spent on the farm. Okay. So I need a flatbed so I could put stuff in the back.
Yes.
So I have outfitted it so that I can put a boom on the back.
Okay.
So these pins right here, those attach the boom.
Okay.
Kind of like a tractor, you know, like a 3-point. And then I had to build the head rack strong enough so that it could handle pulling the boom up and down. So that's why these are in here.
So what kind of weight are we talking about here? Picking up a bale of hay, or do you want to pick up a truck?
I'd like to pick up that truck today, with my old standby.
Okay.
And see how it does. I haven't tested this thing yet.
Okay.
I mean, you're getting a lot of the first right here.
Well, we lifted a transmission for me.
That was nothing.
What?
That was like peanuts. You know.
All right, this is amazing. So can you start with the chassis, I guess, or should we start with the cab?
Yeah, let's start with the cab.
Yeah, because the cab is where the name comes from, right?
I'm thinking about putting this cab on it.
Oh, this?
Yeah.
This K20.
So this one's a beloved truck that I've had for quite a while.
Okay.
It's a camper special.
That's amazing. I love the color, too.
I do, too.
The white and orange.
That's one of the reasons I'm thinking about using it. So it's a compilation of 4 trucks. It's 4 trucks. But the major part, well, the part that I love the most is the camper special. And this was a neighbor of mine that I have known forever. I mean, since I was in my elementary school years. Okay. And it lived right over the other side of that ridge.
Can we drive by there?
We can go drive by there and I'll show you.
Okay.
And she was a nurse. Her husband was blind. They owned about 200 head of sheep. And he took care of all the sheep. And he was an amazing guy, even though he was blind. But his wife, she was even more amazing. And that's why she, of course, drove it everywhere. Had to take him everywhere. They would go to Wyoming and get coal for their coal-burning cook stove. They cooked off of coal until like this modern era for a long time. They were amazing people. So I named it Helen.
After her?
After her.
Okay.
So really the cab is the only thing, and the hood and the grill all came off of that truck.
Okay, where did the chassis come from?
The chassis came from a truck I've shown you before.
Okay.
I actually bought a wrecker. I bought a real wrecker up in Wyoming and hauled it down. It was a 1-ton dually, 1 ton. Voila!
Bam!
Bam! It is a 1986 square body, 4-wheel drive. It's a cabin chassis, which means that being a dually, it has a narrower rear dualies. They're narrower, like 88, I think, rather than 96, something like that. And I took the chassis out of that. I sold the wrecker for a couple grand, the wrecker bed.
Yeah.
I still have the cab. And then I shortened it, moved the spring perches up, and it's actually about the same length as a standard cab pickup, but I shortened it from what it was.
But what's the wheelbase are we talking about?
130.
130?
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, a standard 4-door half-ton truck right now will be about 145. So this is about 15 inches.
And a standard pickup single cab was 131 or somewhere in there.
So it's similar to that.
Yeah, it's similar to that. I didn't shorten it up as much as like some of the off-road guys do. Because
you wanted it multi-purpose.
Multi-purpose.
Okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
But the chassis was an 86. The Dana 60 came from the 86.
The body is 73.
Body 73. The axle is from a 94 GMT 400.
Okay.
The motor is from a GMT 400, a different one. I don't even know, and we can talk about this mistake I made. So it came out of a different truck altogether.
Yeah.
And this right here, if you'll remember way back in the day, Case bought his Dodge, what, 4 years ago or so?
Maybe 5.
Maybe
5 years?
five.
Yes.
And he wanted a regular bed, and I said, well, can I buy the bed off of you? This is like half of what it was.
So this frame was Case's bed, basically.
Yeah, and I chopped a foot off of it. It had 2 toolboxes just like this. I took it off, took the bed out, remade it into what I wanted. So it's really a compilation of 5 trucks.
At least 5.
At least 5. At least 5. So Andre, here's the components to make this thing work.
Okay.
I've got my winch embedded
in the bed
between the frame, and then I have an extra battery. Actually, I have 3 batteries hooked up now.
Okay.
So they're all hooked up, and then underneath that plate
Let me hold this.
Yeah, underneath that plate is my fuel tank.
Right there. Okay.
So what we'll do is I wanted to be able to do this all myself in case I need to go recover somebody.
Yeah.
And I have to put it all together.
Or meet somebody somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll show you how I'm going to do. I have to use a different plate than that one. So I made 2 plates to go over the winch.
Okay. Oh my gosh, David.
So I got to be able to slide this in here myself. Okay.
Wow. I'm going to give you moral support, okay?
You do that.
So now you have to lift each side.
Yeah.
Just a little. Hold on, let me jiggle.
You want
me to jiggle?
Yeah, jiggle it a little bit. I may have to get a bar. Go sideways a little bit.
Oh, are you okay?
Okay, got that one started.
Okay.
Now push it the other direction. I need a hammer.
Yeah, I'll get your hammer.
Okay.
The little big hammer.
This is one of my favorite hammers right there. So these pins are from a tractor, a 3-point.
Okay, so that's plenty of strength.
So I would think so. So these 1-inch plate that I welded to the frame, and then it's all welded to this, which is all welded to this with angle. So I haven't really tested it to see how strong it is.
I mean the maximum capacity.
Yeah, maximum capacity. So we're not
gonna make many mistakes today, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
what's next step? We need the winch.
Yeah. So there is a
D-ring?
D-ring and a snatch block.
Okay.
I need a D-ring and a snatch block.
Where?
Out of here.
From here?
Uh-huh.
You got some kinetic rope here. Got a D-ring. Are you looking for something like this or no?
Mm-hmm. And a snatch block.
I'm sorry, I hurt my back this morning, so I apologize.
Oh man, is there a twisted snatch block in there? One that actually twists?
Ow.
There we go. That's what I was looking for.
Oh, sorry about that.
Did you hurt yourself?
Yeah, a little. That's okay. You have a first aid kit in here, right?
I do, on the other side.
Okay. That's how we work at Happy Yak Ranch. So.
Comedy bears. This is the tough part, is getting all of this together.
Holy moly. Okay.
It's been so long since I did this. I hope I can remember how I do it. You never know.
Well, this is gonna be the guide, the owner's manual.
The owner's manual. How this goes together.
And you're using steel line for this.
Yeah, for this one. So
not
of the
not
6,
rope.
only one of them is a steel line.
Okay.
All the rest are synthetic.
Synthetic line. Okay, so you got a couple of snatch blocks here.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. This snatch block, it says it's rated to up to 15,000?
15,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Should be plenty, I would think.
Folks, don't try this at home, okay?
Okay.
So now the boom can go up and down.
Yeah.
Right?
But I'm going to put, so this, I have this attachment, which this is off of a hitch,
Yeah. Okay.
which lowers that part. So I made this so you could extend it out if you wanted, make it longer,
More reach.
more reach.
Okay, gotcha.
And then made this to go there. And then this to go there. All right, let's see if that lifts.
Only David
So-
can do this.
I haven't labeled these yet, Andre, so I don't know which one does what.
We should label them today.
We should.
Okay. We got remote controls here.
So you got a light there, and then out, in. That's simple. They got a protective cover over them. That way, if you're out in the rain or the dirt.
Yes!
All right, so I got that working right.
Wow.
And you could even go one more snatch block here and then go back to there if you wanted to give it
Just double the power or
three times.
double down?
Yeah. So now we have to have a boom to come down here to pick up whatever.
Yeah.
Because all this is doing is raising, lowering the boom. So you see this piece of 2-inch receiver right here?
Yeah.
This is where the winch goes in,
Oh, the secondary winch.
the secondary winch.
for
So,
the line.
yeah, so I'm going to go get that and then
Okay.
we'll put that in.
Mary, look at this snatch block. It's got the design on it too. Looks like a Triceratops or something, but it's an evil one. Oh my gosh.
Here's the hard part.
David, I want to help you, but
That's all right. I got it, buddy. I got it.
I hurt my back. I'm sorry.
I'm probably gonna hurt my back. So, let's go. You don't want to smash your fingers.
No.
It'd be real easy. Smash your finger. All right, now I got to get the pin in that.
Oh look,
Well, I got more
I
inside.
found a flag. Safety first,
Oh, good.
right? So David, I'm going to be useful for the first time today. Okay. I hope.
We're having fun anyway, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. It's always a ton of fun when I'm here. So we need to put. Do we need this sleeve at all?
No, let's put that back in there. There you go. Perfect.
So the rope goes
Yep.
through the snatch block,
Then the D-ring.
then the D-ring here, and then all the way.
Yep. You need 3 hands.
But one person can do it.
That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, that's what you did. Okay, so I did something.
All right.
Hold on. So now you can operate 2 winches, right?
So there, that's what lifts the boom up. Like that.
Okay.
And then now we're ready to go down the road.
Yes.
Sweet.
Sweet. So David, we pulled up next to your other GMT
Yep.
400,
Yeah.
and that truck is not very light.
No, it's got a 454 in it.
Yes. So I'm a little bit worried about, like, for example, we need to know like how much the axle and the suspension and also the tires,
Yeah.
what are they capable of
Well,
lifting?
so I did put airbags on this thing
Okay.
right here. So the Schrader valve fill up the airbags. They only have like 20 pounds in them right now.
Okay. So we
So-
could actually add some air to it.
We could add some air to it. I
Okay.
kind of want to see what kind of squat I get.
Okay.
I mean, these are 3/4 ton springs, as they came off of a
Okay.
3/4 ton truck
And then with airbags.
with airbags.
And then these tires are load range D,
because you can't get them in E's. They don't come in E's.
right, in this size.
Yeah, in that size.
So that's about 3,500 pounds per tire.
So it's 7,000.
So we should be able to lift half a truck at least.
You would think.
Yes.
No problem.
Okay. So then
Yeah.
you hooked up a hitch in the front of this.
Yeah. And I'm not going to worry too much about my license plate because remember we about ripped that thing off
I remember a couple times.
at Tumbleweed. If you know, that's when it looks like it does.
Okay. So you're using a soft shackle there?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Now what about the angle of the boom? What do you think there?
So
As vertical as possible?
yeah, I mean that's the joy about having the angle, being able to go up and down, so
Yeah.
I can change it. I think I do want to let it out a little bit, so that way it's a little bit farther from the truck,
Okay.
because it's going to bring it in about 2 feet from the truck.
Well, we don't want to ram the bumper of your truck into
That's
your
true.
other truck.
Is it still in spin mode? Did
Is
I
this-
never lock it down?
Is it free spooling?
Yeah. I thought I took it off as free spool.
I think that was my problem.
She's squatting, look at her.
Oh my God! Holy! Wait, but this truck is in the air.
Think we need some air in the bags, Andre. But there's still a little spring in those springs.
There's a little bit of spring, there's a little bit of spring in that step.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So your GMC 2500 is the front end is all the way in the air.
Yeah.
What? There's maybe a foot, maybe half a foot below the tires.
Yeah.
You're squatting quite a bit.
Quite a bit, and the front end's about off the ground.
Okay.
But those airbags can take as much as 80 pounds. You want to put some air in
Yeah.
it and see? Okay, let's go get the compressor.
Okay. Okay. Here you go.
All right, Andre,
Yeah.
let's see.
Let's see if we can lift your rear end.
I was hoping my emergency brake works. So I put what's called disc brake conversion. I went from drums to discs.
Yes.
And you kind of have to redo the whole emergency brake thing. And I need to work on it a little more. If it starts going backwards, will you let me know?
What do I do? Scream?
Jump in there and put the brake on.
Okay.
It's going.
Oh, she's coming up?
She's coming up. She's coming up.
Yes. How many pounds is that?
I don't know, that thing's like 100. It has 90 pounds in it right now.
Wow.
I brought it up quite a bit.
Yeah. Now, the question is, David, is can we drive this way?
Let's give it a try.
Okay.
I mean, I gotta test it sometime.
Well, can you throw it in low
Yeah.
range?
Yeah. You wanna go take that out of the way?
Yeah.
I bet I don't even need to be in low range. I'll just put it in first gear.
Okay.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Oh, the blue truck's it's probably in gear,
You want me to jump in?
and it might have the emergency brake on. Put it in neutral.
I'm gonna be in here.
Okay. You can run the brakes. You ready?
Yeah. Woohoo! Yeah! Okay. I can't believe this. Is this really happening? This is so cool. It's a success.
Success!
This is a
love it.
real, actual success.
It was.
Yes.
It's not even straining it, I don't think. I mean, my boom hasn't broke. Nothing
Well,
snapped
also,
off.
I noticed when you were turning around,
Yeah,
there was also stresses sideways.
sideways.
You know, because you're pulling this way, but everything held together beautifully.
And that's what the airbags are supposed to help with that a little
Yeah.
bit, because there's no sway bar front or back on this
Did you
truck.
feel like you had a good enough steering?
Yeah.
You had some
yeah.
steering input? Nice. I
So-
think those airbags are critical.
Yeah, they are. And when I built that whole airbag setup, I reinforced it like big time with gussets, because
Yeah.
I knew that it was going to be taking a lot of force.
Beautiful.
Success. Let's let her down.
Well, one of the things I love about the truck, David, is that you have a lot of good clearances. Like your approach angle is amazing. I want to measure actually your pumpkin clearance
Okay.
to the differential, but also these tires.
Well, you know I'm a Michelin man.
Wait, where's your suit?
Yeah, I know I should have had a Michelin man shirt. I mean, that's all I buy. But you can't buy a tire like this from Michelin. So I did the next best thing.
Well, it's a B of Goodrich.
They're owned by the same
Same
company.
family, right?
Same family.
Yes.
So Grant's the one that got me,
Yeah.
TFL.
Yeah, so these are KM3s. So
Yeah.
they're the latest technology for KM tires.
Yeah.
KM3s, mud terrains, and I think they're very proportional.
They are.
They make this truck look really nice.
I had to cut. I mean, I'd done this a long time ago. I probably cut 2 inches off of this side and
front fender. Yeah.
3 off of the front, maybe 3 off of both.
Have you flexed it much yet?
Yeah,
You have.
Yeah, I
Can
mean,
we flex it today?
yeah, we will.
Okay.
We'll see if we get any interference. I I haven't heard any yet, so we'll see.
Can you do me a favor, David? Can you measure to like the belly? Because it looks like there's 2 feet of space. Is it true?
No, not quite. It's 17 and a half right there.
So to the belly. What about like the differential?
So,
sorry, I made you crawl.
That's all right.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
that's all right. The rear is right at 10 inches.
Okay.
And we'll get the front.
Oh, that's fine. So 10 inches about to the differential, right?
Yeah. But as you notice, since I cut a foot off of it, I mean,
The departure angle.
Here's my spring hangers right here.
Yeah.
So kind of limited by that, but I mean, check out this angle.
This is monstrous angle.
Yeah.
This is like 45 degrees.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's legal without a bumper, but if you put a bumper on it, then you really cut your...
Well, I mean, your
departure
bed is
angle.
kind of your bumper. I mean, really.
Yeah, there's my bumper right there.
Well, and your hitch and your toe points.
So Andre, being my good friend, he bought me a bunch of winches because I worked on the Buhunka.
How many winches did you want?
He bought me 6 winches.
6 winches.
Yeah. So I have one in the front.
Yes.
I have one in the back.
Yes.
I have one buried under here that I'll show you a little bit that runs the boom.
Okay.
I have one for either side.
Okay.
And I have one that goes on the boom. So we get to travel with 6 winches.
Lots of winches. All right, let's off-road this bad boy.
All right, put her in 4-wheel low.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that one of the limiting factors is not the transfer case, because MP205 is only 2 to 1.
Well, that's okay.
I got 410 gears, but hey, if it doesn't work, then that's,
Well, right
that's the
now, are
lowest
you
gear.
in low gear?
That's the lowest gear I got right there.
Well, that's pretty good. I mean, we're crawling.
Yeah.
And you have so many winches, I mean, it doesn't matter.
Right.
I mean, if you get hung up on something,
Right.
you could always grab onto something.
And gently climb a hill. Exactly.
And you said we have about 30 PSI in these tires?
Yeah. So I didn't take them down very far, but they handled that weight pretty good
Yeah.
of the truck.
And you need the traction of the tire.
Yeah. Nice
For
having this ground clearance, because you don't even worry about what's out here.
No.
You know.
Oh, now we're just frolicking through the field. Yeah, you're right. It may need air conditioning.
It does need air conditioning. Think right now I'm getting some of the heat from the engine in here because it doesn't have any insulation whatsoever.
Yeah, and the engine is warmed up all the way.
Yeah.
So this is what's called Yakadega?
Yeah, we named it the Yakadega 500.
Yeah.
All right, so this is one of the steepest parts.
Yeah.
So this really is going to check our departure angle.
Breakover angle?
And breakover angle.
Yeah.
And to see how she climbs up out of here, if she'll idle.
What if she's low on fuel?
If she's low on fuel, that could be bad.
She's got enough torque.
Yeah.
I don't think you spun tires.
I don't think I spun a tire.
Who needs lockers?
Yeah, who needs a locker, for crying out loud?
And also, we do have that boom hanging above us.
That is true.
So it changes our center of gravity a little bit, right?
Yeah. This is going to check our, see if we get a rub or not, because I'm going to definitely articulate here.
Yeah, you want to go diagonally here?
Yeah, a little
Nice.
bit of diagonal.
Well, she's doing so well. Where else can we go? Let's go to Hell's Revenge. What is this called? Wrist Creek?
Yeah, Wrist Creek. See if I belly out here. No.
I can hear some branches,
Did you? Here a little
but
bit.
not much.
Let's see
Oh,
if we
that's
go
pretty
up that
steep.
one. That's pretty steep.
Yeah, that's
Let's
nice.
see how we do on this.
That's nice. Like butter. Like butter. I don't think I can take my Tundra through here.
I don't think your Tundra could do that.
At least on my belly, you know?
Yeah, it's that approach and departure angle. That's the tough part.
And I think 2-to-1 is working well, actually.
Yeah. Now, if I had something hooked to the back, trying to go up, that might be a different story.
Well, also, you may need a little bit more torque, so the engine tuning, I think, would help.
Yeah, I agree. If it was tuned right, then I don't think it would die on me. But we're not hitting our front. I mean,
no. I mean, we have so much clearance.
That winch, you would think it would hit something that steep, but I mean, this is steep right here.
I call it a success. Yes.
Yes.
Can we go down there somewhere? Like past the branches or here?
Right here, we'll go down here.
Oh, this is part of Yakadega.
Yeah, this was part of the Yakadega right here.
Beautiful!
Didn't even spin a tire.
No, I don't know if you even need lockers. I mean, for goodness sake, you got lots of traction.
As good as it did. Should I try to climb that rock right there?
Yeah. Or maybe you could park it on the rock.
Think I'm on it?
Hold on. Let me go look.
Okay. That's a long drop down there.
Hold up. Wow. You may need to go another foot. Yes.
That's flexed.
It's all good.
All right.
It's a success. We got lap belts. We got a screwdriver.
We do have lap belts. Everything from the old, which is kind of unique about it, is that it's half and half, you know? That's old school right there.
So it meets in the middle.
It meets in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Labeled GM. And I can't believe this, David. The windscreen is original?
Yeah, I think it is. Because it has the antenna in the windshield.
I don't believe it, because this is Colorado. We usually have a lot of rocks on the highways and stuff.
The muffler on this, I tried to make it as quiet as possible. It
is pretty quiet.
It still has a little bit of rumble to it. I mean, I'm an old man. You want it quiet.
Well, yeah.
But not completely quiet.
You know, it's only time and money. I mean, you can make a cutout switch where you could flip a button and let it scream.
Well, I still have plans for the truck. It's not done yet, Andre.
Is it ever done? I mean, is any project ever done?
That's exactly right. I have, the fun part is dreaming. That's where you spend hours dreaming about what you want to do.
Yeah.
And then you spend hours working on it. But sometimes it doesn't work out like you really want. But the fun of it is the dreaming part to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you take the dreaming to the next level because you actually, we're driving in your dream right now.
Exactly.
So
it does actually drive. So it said it just doesn't have as much power as I want. It seems like it spits and sputters a bit.
Okay.
But it does drive. So
do you have a tack or is this a tack?
That's my tack right there.
Oh, that's only turning about 1,200 RPM. I mean, that's nothing.
We're in fourth gear. I do have a 5-speed.
Yeah.
The transmission came out of a GMT 400 truck. Same one that the axle came out of.
Okay.
So I had bought that truck in Wyoming and brought it home thinking I would do something like this. I'd been acquiring parts for some time. I wanted the 5-speed just so that I could possibly
get alongside of them.
Yeah, so that I could possibly drive it on the highway. I don't know that I will, but I would like to.
So, like any project, this project is also about learning, right?
It is.
Because it's basically, I mean, you've done several engine swaps and other builds, but when I was talking to you last time, you were telling me you were learning about the suspension design.
Yeah.
I mean, tell me a little bit more about some of those things.
Well, I knew I wanted to be on leaf springs.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go into the realm of, 3-link, 4-link, all that.
5-link?
Yeah, I wanted it to be on leaf springs, which, what Chevy was originally.
Yeah.
The Chevy was. But when you lift it, you have all kinds of issues with your shocks, with your steering. But the great thing is the aftermarket for square bodies is huge. And the biggest one out there is probably Off-Road Designs.
Okay.
And there are a lot of Off-Road Designs parts on this truck.
Okay.
Which makes it work, because it doesn't work without all their R&D that they've done over the years.
So you didn't reinvent the wheel on all of this stuff.
Right.
You used some parts.
Yeah, like crossover steering, where you take I took the steering box out of the 2-wheel drive truck.
Yeah.
And took the 4-wheel drive steering box off, because in order for the they call it high steer, in order for that to work,
yeah,
you have to have a different steer. But I had it, because I had the 2 trucks. I had the 4-wheel drive truck and the 2-wheel drive truck.
Are we getting close to Helen's house?
Yes, we are. So right over this ridge. So Bob had about between 100 and 200 sheep, but of course they don't own it anymore. Now the dairy owns it, and they raise calves.
On the
Those
left
are all
here.
dairy calves right there. And this is the homestead that they lived in. They homesteaded this place. Their parents did, actually.
Yeah.
Look at that, right there. Isn't that cool?
There you go. We're waving to them.
I mean, it's got a little bit of gumption, but
Yeah.
I think it could be better.
Well, this is not a drag racer, right?
No,
It's okay.
it's getting better. The more I drive it, it is getting better. And so
Okay.
I have noticed that it does learn.
I gotcha.
But this is all new to me, the whole port fuel injection and
Right.
what you could dial in each individual injector if you want to. I have no idea about how it works, but
Well, yeah, I mean, it's there. I mean, if you're an expert, I mean, you could do all those things.
you could. And I may need to find an expert.
All right, so then we need to talk about the trials and tribulations.
Okay?
Because every project, I'm learning about that through my, Buhanka project.
Yep.
And you've learned a bit more about this with Helen
Yep.
here. Where should we start with the trials and tribulations here?
Well, I've had to put a few things in more than once, more than twice. Take it back out.
Yeah.
The big one that we talked about was the motor when I had it. I mean, I had never built a motor before in my life, so that was one of my goals.
Okay.
I wanted to build a motor. So
you didn't want to just reuse an old motor or have somebody else build it
Right.
for you.
Right. I wanted to do it myself so I could learn.
Okay.
So I had it machined at a machine shop, and all that was fine.
And then you bought all the parts.
Bought all the parts for it. I made a big mistake on my startup. I put regular engine oil in it, 10W30,
Okay.
and that was a mistake. I didn't know.
I remember because we were building the Buhanka, and by the way, thank you so much because you kind of delayed this project a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Because of the van.
Exactly. Worked on the van a lot.
But then you wanted to get this engine running, right?
Yeah. I put it in, and within like 10 minutes on the startup, I started hearing a little tick. So I shut it off, pulled the oil pan, and it was full of metal. Little glittery metal fragments in the oil. So I knew I had had to pull it. So I pulled the whole motor out. I took it completely apart. I cleaned every little passageway, took it apart, made sure the bearing, I repolished the crank with 1,000 grit paper.
Yeah.
You know, I tried to learn all that, like how to clean an engine properly. And I put it back together. I put the right oil in, and
So the break-in oil, basically.
the break-in oil.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was 30 weight break-in oil. I'll show you when we get.
And it's also more lead in it, or zinc? Zinc.
It has zinc.
Yeah.
It has lots of zinc in it. So, and it seems, I mean, it's running smooth. They had balanced the motor. So, I mean, it's pretty smooth.
And it's not making any bad noises.
Not making noises, no ticking.
All right.
No nothing.
So, and you showed me some of this also, because you had an engine apart when we were building the van.
Yeah.
So you showed me some of this stuff. You showed me the lifters, right?
That's what went bad. But you know, I had a decision to make. I had to buy a new cam, and I had to buy new lifters.
Okay.
And you can spend some coin on those kind of things.
Okay.
So but I mean, I'm already into this thing so much money. I thought, man, I gotta be budget. So I went on Rock Auto. We love Rock Auto.
Yeah.
And I bought basically it's an RV cam, stock right off of Rock Auto.
Okay.
It said made in America.
Nice.
I bought it. It cost me $155 with the lifters. I put it in, and it's working great. The truck nearly killed me.
Are you just making fun of it?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I mean, it was my mistake, big mistake. So after messing the engine up once, I was trying to do everything just right, and I wanted to pre-oil the engine.
Okay.
Where you pressurize the oil into all the little passageways everywhere. And of course, they make a tool for that.
Okay.
But it's a little pricey, couple $100, you know, to buy that and pressurize it. So I'd seen some guys that took a weed sprayer,
Okay.
and you put your oil in the weed sprayer,
Okay.
and then you pressurize your weed sprayer by putting a Schrader valve on it.
Okay.
And so I pressurized the oil, and I filled the whole passageway, and I started the truck. Okay. When I started the truck, it ran great. Everything was going fine, but I had not unhooked the pressure tank.
Okay. From the oil system?
From the oil system, because the pressure line, it's a mechanical pressure. And so it started pumping all the oil back into my weed sprayer. Well, I panicked, because I mean, you're supposed to run it at 20 minutes at 2,000 RPM, 2,200 RPM, you know, get
There's
the
a
RPMs
procedure.
up.
There's a procedure, yeah.
And I was doing all that, and I looked, and it pumped 3 quarts of oil back into the weed sprayer. And I go, oh no, I just ruined the engine again. So I shut it off, I got out, and it obviously had pressure, and I was waiting for the oil to go back into the engine, but it wasn't going fast enough. I mean, it's like, what's wrong? It had, because the engine was, I guess, had pressure on it. So I got my air compressor out. I started filling up my Schrader valve to push the oil, because I had it set on top of the engine right there.
Yeah.
And I started filling it up with air, and I'm thinking about all the things I just did wrong. How I screwed this up again, I'm gonna have to pull the motor out.
And you're getting kind of anxious about it, probably.
And it had 3 quarts of oil in that sprayer, and I wasn't paying attention to how much pressure was in there. All of a sudden, the seam on that plastic air sprayer burst, launched that thing right at my face. I'm standing on my little scaffolding, leaning over, filling up that Schrader valve. That tank hits me in the face.
But it's also full of oil.
It's got 3 quarts of oil in it.
Yeah.
The oil goes everywhere. It hits me in the chin, knocks me out. I went into...
So you fall back?
I went into like you were floating in space kind of thing. I kind of knew that I was still alive, but I was floating in space. I landed on the ground.
This is concrete. It's
concrete.
On the concrete.
On the ground, and hit my shoulder really hard, hit my leg, but I didn't hit my head, luckily.
Thank goodness, yeah.
And I woke up. I don't know how long I laid there. I woke up like a minute or 2 or 3 later.
Yeah.
Unconscious. I was unconscious. covered in oil.
Was
My whole shop is covered in oil.
Was the oil hot also?
No, luckily it wasn't that hot.
Kind of
yet.
warm.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was warm, but not hot. Everything was covered in oil, including me.
If your wife would have walked in on this scene,
or if I would have landed my engine hoist was right there. If I had landed and hit my head on the engine hoist when it knocked me back, I mean.
Well, we don't want to think about other.
I think Helen was with me. She was my guardian angel. Oh, so yeah. So I've done a few stupid things, but it's all part of the learning experience.
But that's about learning, yes.
Yeah.
And here's another thing, because a lot of the times, I mean, this is your project, so you're kind of working by yourself, right?
I was.
It's not like
the whole thing has happened right in the shop.
Yeah, and it's away from the main house.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're in the garage attached.
Right.
I mean, you're in a separate building.
Yeah.
And you're just enjoying yourself, working on things.
Right.
So yeah, that's really scary.
It was.
Wow.
After I came to and I realized what happened, I mean, it's just like it hit me like I could be dead right now.
And then the cleanup began.
There was oil on the ceiling, there was oil on the walls, there was oil, the whole engine bay covered in oil.
But it looks nice right now.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
Can you believe that?
I cannot.
Yeah. So I've had to take the transmission out twice, transfer case out twice, fixing some things. I smoked the rear bearings because I put the axle in like a year and a half ago, and I went driving and I forgot that I was going to take it apart and grease it.
Yeah.
I never greased the bearings, so I smoked all 4 bearings in the rear axle. So I had to take all the bearings back out
and repack them and
I had
redo it.
Kind of messed up the spindle a little bit, so I polished the spindle, put it all back together. So I've made my share of many mistakes.
Can you show me the engine and let's talk about it?
All right. It is out of somewhere in the 90s. They call it a Gen 5 454, Andre, which just means that it's also what's called a peanut port head. That's what's in the blue truck over there. Okay. They made them from 88 to 95, I believe. And of course, I've always been in love with my GMT 400 truck, so I wanted that motor. However, I didn't want to use the fuel injection. I didn't even have it. So even though I'm wearing a Holly shirt today, this is Edelbrock's version of port fuel injection. So you know about this because you bought this for me.
Yeah.
Kind of in trade for all the work I did on the Bahunka.
Yeah, exactly.
But it comes with the manifold and 8 injectors. And the whole computer system. So the computer's right here, and came with distributor, fuel pump.
And your computer, you can monitor it on your phone too.
Yeah, Bluetooth.
Right?
Yeah, Bluetooth.
So we could show that inside.
Yeah, it sends a signal from the computer to my phone.
So right now,
what's different than your Holly? Your Holly is on a little screen.
With a wire.
With a wire.
Yes.
Whereas Edelbrock is strictly Bluetooth.
Okay.
So it's telling me lots of things here. It's telling me coolant temp. It's telling me fuel pressure. It's telling me idle. It's telling me.
Well, let's show that again.
Yeah, okay. You can look at them all.
So it's a bit of information, which is nice. You could mount it on the dashboard if you wanted to.
Yep.
And you could just get that done.
Or if I want to get a little bigger tablet.
Yeah.
For in here.
That's nice. So how much power were you looking for? I mean, what was your dream?
Well,
and where are we at now?
Yeah, that's one of the issues is I really don't know where I'm at. It's not, as you know, like we did on the Bahunka, computer has to learn.
Yes.
I think at this point I'm going to need a tuner. Somebody who knows.
Because it's not running perfectly like you want it to.
It runs, but it doesn't run great. It could run a lot better. I mean, it runs cool. Everything is working at this point, but it's not. I mean, I wanted at least 300 horse, you know. I wanted it to, and like 500 pounds of torque.
Well, I think you could probably reach 400 horse.
I think it's possible. Yeah, I think it's possible.
I mean, why not? I mean, you have the displacement. I mean, you have all the ingredients.
It was bored. It's like 460 something now. It was balanced.
You have nice headers for the exhaust. You have, I mean, a lot of...
they're standard issue
Okay.
exhaust manifold.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that are restricting it right now. Like my air cleaner restricts it. My manifold restricts it.
Okay.
The heads actually restrict it. But I wasn't trying to build a monster truck. I was just trying to build something that could easily do what I wanted to do.
And just last.
Yeah,
and just
and last.
go.
Exactly.
Go and go and go.
Because I love my blue truck.
I love you also put reinforcements into the hood as well.
Well, yeah, VGG, he sells them. And,
Yes.
because in this version, in 70s to 80, 73 to 80, these hinges typically, they lose their lubrication and you can bend the hood right in half.
Yeah, because you're slamming it down and bam.
Right.
Okay.
So VGG came up with these and I was supporting them by buying those. So.
Let me jump in the driver's seat.
You get to drive.
Toot toot.
So the wipers work, the horn works, the radio works. That's the original radio.
That's awesome. What about like some gauges? Were you able to hook up?
Everything's working. The speedometer, of course, is off with those tires.
Oh, yes.
But the only thing I haven't got working is I have the oil pressure gauge, but I haven't got the temperature gauge. But I have temperature right here on my phone, so, and it's done well. Like it's 192 right now.
You know what I noticed? You have automatic selection here on the.
Yeah, because
it used to be an automatic truck.
Automatic, exactly.
You have PR and DL, Prindle.
Yeah.
Your clutch is really easy.
It's really easy. I bought a advanced adapters bell housing.
Yeah.
So the GMT 400 clutch assemblies are on the passenger side, which is in the way of the passenger side dip.
Yeah.
So I had to get a bell housing that could mate to the NV4500, and luckily Advanced Adapters made one for square bodies that adapts to an NV4500.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
And then
it's heavy duty part.
And then tell me about the twin sticks, because your four-wheel drive system, you got twin sticks here.
Yeah, that way you can engage the front axle and not the rear axle if you want. So you could do front digs if you want.
Or rear digs.
Or rear digs, yeah. Exactly.
So that's basically NP205 transfer case, right? That you rebuilt or updated?
I had to rebuild it completely because it had a bunch of teeth missing out of the tow truck.
Yeah.
So if somebody was to do a build, I would tell them, buy a run and drive it truck. This made my life so much more difficult buying parts and pieces.
Yeah.
But I mean, you live and learn. Run and driving truck, if your MP205 is in good shape because you can drive it. If your motor runs because you can drive it.
Yeah.
If your front axle is shot.
Or if your clutch works or whatnot.
All of that. And yeah, I do have some specialty parts on it, but I'd been a lot better if I'd have bought a 1-ton K30 from the start that was running and driving and pay money for it. Because, they're not cheap.
Well, because you're paying still for it in your hours and your parts and everything else.
But on the other hand, I had never taken an NP205 apart. So
it was about learning.
I took every piece apart. It's got 1,500 pieses. You count all the little needle bearings and everything that are in it. So I learned how to do that.
Yeah.
As well as the motor itself. So it has been a very good learning experience for me.
Have you had it on the highway yet or not yet?
Not yet.
So, as far as, I guess we can talk about that off-road. You were telling me you wanted locking differentials as well. Yeah,
I'll eventually spend the money on locking diffs, but I want to get everything working first.
Yeah.
So that I know that if I'm going to spend the money to upgrade it even more, I want it working like I want it.
Yeah.
Perfectly. So I'll get a tune on it first, and then we'll move forward. But
I gotcha.
So what do you think so far?
Oh, it drives wonderfully. I almost want to go on the highway and try it on the highway.
Right.
Because, I mean, the power steering, I mean, it turns with one finger.
It does, doesn't it?
You know, very easy.
It just doesn't have a lot of power, like right coming out of that corner in third gear, you know?
Yeah.
And like right there, going into fourth, my other truck would have no trouble shifting at that point. So I feel like that it just, the power's down a little bit. So
Okay.
it's not quite right.
Okay, so you want somebody to go through it
Yeah.
and take a look at it,
Yeah.
basically.
But it's shifting through
But
all
I'm
the
not-
gears just fine.
Well, I guess if you're pulling something heavy, you
Yeah.
know, let's say you're towing somebody, right? Or if you're carrying something very heavy, that's when you need the
Yeah.
extra power. Like right now, we're not. We're
No.
not carrying anything.
And you smell the gas.
A little?
I got a little bit of a gas leak. I don't know if it's coming from my tank or I can't find it. I've been looking and I
Wait,
haven't
did you
found
build
it
your own
yet.
tank?
I built my own tank too. Because I'll show it to you. It's between the rails.
Okay.
Because the saddle tanks, you just can't use them for
For an off-roader like
an
this.
off-roader. Yeah. They're low-hanging fruit. So I had to build my own tank.
Well, you basically have touched every component with your hands.
Every component. Yeah.
And inside of axles and transfer case and tank, engine.
Yeah. Like building a tank, you know, you got to weld it all up, and then you got to pressure test it.
Yeah.
Then you got to fix all the holes that are in it. Then you got to seal it. Then you got to figure out how you're going to mount it. Then you got to figure out your fuel pump system and your vent. I mean, there's just so many parts. Every little, whether it be fuel system or electrical system or engine system or transmission, it's just so much to it. And I'd never challenged myself like that before. So,
And now it's finally, well, thank you for having me here because this is basically a payoff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not completely done, like you said,
Right.
but this is a payoff.
it's a run and drive and truck
Yeah.
at this point. You could
Yeah.
go rescue somebody if you wanted to.
You could, for
right
sure.
now. Yeah.
Or you could hook up the trailer of your yaks and take your yaks somewhere. Do
Maybe.
whatever.
Maybe. Yeah.
You just need the right hitch, right?
Yeah. It is a little far off the ground. You're gonna have a big drop hitch.
All right, let's go. I want to see that boom.
Let's go put the boom on. I'm excited about that. Show everybody how I built that. I had to be creative on that so that it'd be strong enough, but yet it would come off. And also it has to be,
My fuel gauge went to empty. I don't know why.
yeah, it did.
Because it was in the middle.
It was in the middle.
Are we leaking that much?
Well, we'll find when we get it parked. We'll see if we got any leaks.
But the engine is not struggling yet. I mean, he's got fuel.
Got fuel. I don't know.
I was gonna ask you.
But I built the boom so that I could put it on by myself without the help of someone else or a crane or anything. So I had to get creative on that.
But also, people may not know some of your history. I mean, you also design homes and build homes.
Yep.
So, because building a crane, I mean, you gotta understand a lot of things. Geometry, stress, right?
Yeah.
Stress of different components.
And I had built, because I had lifted my own trusses for years
Yeah.
with my tractor, and I built stingers out of my tractor bucket so I could lift, 30 feet high. So I kind of knew a lot of how the geometry works
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But I learned all my welding skills. I don't know if I ever told you, Andre, but I have some patents on some baseball equipment.
Okay. Well, I knew you were building some baseball stuff, but I wasn't sure you had patents.
My boys were big into baseball, and I came up with some portable equipment, and I got patents on it. And for 10 years, I built baseball equipment in my shop,
Okay.
and I had to weld. That's where I learned my welding, by welding all the pipe together. So that kind of stretched me into when I was building homes, I never had to weld anything. So that was a good part of life, building equipment.
Yeah. Right now it's very easy to drive.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. I mean, it's easy to shift. I'm not searching for gears. Everything is quite nice.
It doesn't
very
wander
easy.
too much.
No, and it seems like it's running true.
Pretty
And
true. The
straight.
steering wheel's not quite straight,
Well,
but that would be easy to fix.
Yeah.
I would like to get an alignment on it, I think, at some point.
especially with the new tires and everything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
And you could put a spare in the back, right?
Yep. I can strap it to the cross member back there.
Yeah. Nice.
So someday, we got to take it to Moab.
With
And
the
the
Russian
Bohanka.
van. Yes. Yes. Stay tuned for that.
Yeah, stay tuned for that. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah. Well, so this is the first shakedown.
Okay,
Let's
yeah.
call it. The second shakedown, you and I should probably run somewhere in these mountains.
Yeah, right here close.
And then once we do all that,
Yeah.
my Bohanka, I need a couple more gears.
I smoked third and fourth, I guess.
Well, I don't think it was just you. I think it was just the way the transmission was built
Yeah.
and the way, all of that together. And then Moab.
And then Moab.
Yes. Hey, maybe we can say hello to Rory as well.
I would love that.
Well, because, he inspired
He
this.
did. He did. I would like for Rory to critique my truck.
Yeah.
In fact,
So Rory,
I would like for you guys to critique my truck.
yes.
So you're going to see all this B-roll and tell me what I've done wrong, because I know that I've messed a few things up. I may have got a few things right, but I always love criticism.
How about constructive?
Constructive criticism. Exactly.
Constructive criticism, yes. So that was a total success, I think.
I'm glad you were in the truck driving it.
Well, I was feathering the brake a
brake,
little bit.
yep.
Because I was swinging a little bit
Yep.
back and forth.
And that's what you have
But-
to do when you're towing that way.
But you have off-roading checked, street driving checked, lifting checked. But there's still more we can do, right? We need to go into the mountains, I
Yeah.
think, and then towards Moab.
Well, I still got a few more improvements. My wife's not going to go with me anywhere unless I put air conditioning in the truck.
That's
Yeah.
very important.
So
Air conditioning is
I
very
have to
important.
get that working. I got to put lockers. I don't have to, but it would be nice if I had lockers.
What type of lockers?
I'm thinking
air or selectable, electric?
Electric.
Electric,
I'm thinking
yeah.
electric.
Yeah. Because air can be finicky
Yeah,
for
it
lockers.
can be.
Yeah.
I don't have a compressor. I do want to put a compressor on it. So
And
that
a welder maybe?
And a welder. I mean, go the whole thing. The
Sky
whole
is the
works.
limit, guys.
Yeah.
And then we should go meet Rory.
If he'll have us, I would love to go meet Rory.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
this
you
is
for-
amazing project. It's a dream come true, I
Well, I
think.
couldn't have done it without you, because you're
Really?
the one that kind of helped finance.
Well,
We traded.
Yes. Yeah, we traded.
I did all the work on the Bohanka. You bought me lots of parts.
Yes.
So
So it's kind of like, it feels really good.
it does.
It feels good.
It does.
Thanks for joining us for this one, and we'll see you on the next one.
Sweet.
Okay, okay. Oh. Don't show me crying. Don't show me.
You're the man. You're the man.